I woke up this morning and there's pools of water on the golf course. So I was just wondering. Because I didn't hear any rain.
It was
Hi,
supposed
Cynthia.
to possibly, but it didn't.
Yeah.
No.
I welcome the thunder, the lightning, and the rain.
Me too.
I see Shauna's there too. I love that picture. Hey, Cynthia.
All right, it's about that time for our live streams to go live. So welcome Facebook and YouTube live streamers. And as is our tradition as of today, we like to begin with singing. So mute your mics and sing along.
Step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, you are beautiful just the way you are. Step into the love. You're illuminated by the glory of God's love. Step into the truth. From within, your abundance overflows. Our love can change one life. One life can change the world. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So move with me, step with me, step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So move with me, step with me, step into the light.
Please excuse me. I had to sneeze there real quick. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the beauty and the power and the presence of the light of God itself, that we are all illumined beings, that we are in touch, even though we're out of reach, for we breathe the one breath, the one power, the one presence, the one love of God, that we are here together, remembering, revitalizing the truth that sets us free, that Downey Center for Spiritual Living rocks, that walls cannot hold us and love expands and abounds freely. So welcome to this Sunday talk. I want to share with you our vision and mission that we play by, that we love by, that we live by. And I think Rev Kev is going to bring it up so we all can see. There it is. So our vision and mission statement is something that affirms who Downey Center for Spiritual Living is and what we represent in our life and the life of the people that we love. And that we allow ourselves to expand not only speaking it in English, but challenging ourselves to speak it in Spanish or vice versa, so that we're always living on the edge of growth. That if we stay green, we grow. If we ripen, we rotten. So we're going to be green. We're going to live our vision and purpose by actually owning what it says, what it means for us. So let's take a look at it and say it together. And I'm going to say it in English and then attempt to say it in Spanish in my best Spanglish there is. And I'd like for you to do the same if you're open to that. Ready? Take a deep breath in. By valuing
and empowering all, we inspire a fulfilling and joyous life.
Al
Al
valor
y
y
potenciar
potenciar todo,
inspiramos
inspiramos
una vida
una vida plena y alegre.
alegre.
And I love the way that feels for me now, because when we first started reading it in Spanish, I didn't want to do that because I didn't speak those words before. Now, when I hear myself say them, I'm like, hey, they feel pretty comfortable. They feel familiar to me. And that's the power of the vision and mission statement. And that's the power of an affirmation. What we talk about consistently, we become. Excuse me, I haven't talked this much in months. I want to introduce Gary. And Gary, I love you, but I'm going to do it quickly so I can catch my breath. Gary is one of our wonderful practitioners. Gary is a wonderful person that not only says he loves you, but he shows up and shows you he loves you. Gary is a person that prays. Gary's a person that loves. And Gary's a person that loves to support. And this is the practitioner example of who we have at Down East Center for Spiritual Living. Please help me welcome Gary Takasian.
Well, thank you, Reverend Judy. That's very, very touching. Wow. All right, so we're going to do a little bit different for our meditation this morning. And what I'm going to invite us to do is to think about our monthly theme and our theme for today. And the monthly theme is Reaching Higher. And today our talk theme is Still I Rise. As I was thinking about this morning, I couldn't help but think about the recent space venture of 4 ordinary folks, non-astronauts, actually got to get lifted up into space and to orbit the Earth and to see what our planet looks like when you're 360 some miles up. And so what I thought we'd do today is do a meditation that's slightly different. For the most part, we do meditations where we go deeply within. And this time, I want us to use that intuitive imagination that we have as we're going to lift higher up and do indeed rise up. So if you'll join with me, take a few deep breaths, relax into your seats, and we will begin our time of meditation. And so as we focus on our breath, we just breathe in that spirit that's around, that spirit that gives life to all, that spirit that just creates and makes wonderful all that is. And in this particular time, what I'm going to ask us to do is to imagine that we are sitting in that space capsule, that we are privileged to be able to launch ourselves into the space, And so as we begin, let us just lift off and let us rise in our consciousness as we begin to rise up. And we look out those windows and we begin to see the earth fall away. The earth moves away from us as we move up into this space. And as we do, we begin to have that presence of the divine, because the majesty of that view begins to take shape. And as we rise up, we begin to see that there is actually a curvature to the earth, and that there is this blue and white planet down below us with the black of space surrounding it. And as we sit in that place and begin to look down at this planet that we call home, we begin to touch the divine in a whole new way, looking outward at the majesty that is before us. And so let us spend just a few moments and just peer out that window and become aware of what gets presenced for you. What thoughts, what feelings, what emotions come up as you look down at this blue planet that we call home? We behold the majesty of the divine. the expanse. For we know that there is no size to the divine. The smallest and the largest are all one divine. And so as our trip to that highest of heights comes to an end, we know that that old saying that everything that goes up must come down. And so I just invite us now to allow our venture into that outer realms of space to begin to come back down and to make a nice, peaceful, soft landing once again right here on planet Earth. And so as we continue to breathe, we just allow that experience to just be in our hearts. And what I know is that that divine presence which surrounds and which gives life to all is within each and every one of us. It is that which gives creativity to us to express in a multitude of ways, each with our own special gifts, with our own special view of life. That comes through as the divine speaks through us, through each and every one of us. And so this morning, I know that Reverend Judy will speak to us. She will allow the divine to flow through her. And so we give thanks for knowing all of those truths. And we just simply allow now those words to be embedded in that wonderful, magical part of the divine that makes it so. And so we say, and so it is, and now it is. Amen.
Thank you so much, Gary.
And now it is. Yes.
Mm.
Yes, thank you for that. Indeed, a blessing to have this, even these few moments of a shared spiritual practice of this kind of communion. It's very, very powerful, and it's very important to me, as I trust it is for you as well. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Kevin. I have just a couple of announcements for you this morning. Just a reminder that immediately after service, we have Minute Miracles. We have time with our practitioners that we form you up in a breakout group on the Zoom. A nice feature where you can be paired up with a practitioner, and they will know the spiritual truth for you. So that is always available, as well as our fellowship time after service. And if you're called to be of sacred service to our community, do let us know. There are a variety of roles. I have a brief list here, but some of these things you might easily slide into. Others will help you, understand what that service is, give you some instruction, some training so that you can excel if that's what you're called to do. And you can reach out to anyone on our ecclesiastical team, anyone on our leadership council, in your favorite way, phone, email, messaging us on Facebook, however that works for you. And we will be glad to help you fulfill that call to service. And I want to give thanks to all those who gather week by week, sometimes day by day, as it's been in the last week, to create this opportunity for this community, for this Downey Center for Spiritual Living, and our gatherings here on Sunday. So a special thanks to our practitioner of the day, Gary Takasian. Thank you so much. Beautifully done. A thank you to our minister of the day, and for our message coming up from Reverend Judy. I already know it is fantastic, so thank you to Reverend Judy. And to those out moderating on our live stream, thank you so much for doing that. So we stream out live to YouTube and Facebook at this point. So whoever our friends are gathering there, we have folks from our community interacting with them as they are joining that live stream. And I want to give a special thanks to our leadership council. It's as you know by now, we've had a challenging week at the center, and so they've gone above and beyond to respond to that challenge. So a special thanks to our leadership council. And as always, a thanks to our music team and Sunny Day, our music director, for continuing to create and support us. And to all of you for joining us here today. This is a powerful and transformative experience because of you and your presence here and joining in the beloved community. And as is our wont, we like to continue our spiritual practice. So we've had some meditation, some prayer, some singing. And this is our opportunity to give as a spiritual practice. And the mechanics of it, there are the ways that you might be called to give your donation. You can send your gift to our new address, which is actually a P.O. box. And Reverend Sunshine will join us later to explain more about this. But please send your gifts now to 3350 East 7th Street, Box 529. That is in Long Beach, California, 90804. Or you can use your bill pay service through your bank. If you do so, make sure that you direct that payment to this new address. And just so you know, we have been holding our 10,000 Paramount Boulevard mail at the post office, so it is also safe and secure. So it does, if it still happens to send there, we're still going to get it, and it's going to be in good hands. And as always, you can use that donate link. I put it here in the chat already. It also appears in our emails and on our website. And for that, you can use your credit or debit card. Now, this rises to the level of a spiritual practice, as most things do, based on the consciousness with which you do it, right? So here, the consciousness that comes up for me is one of plenty. There's plenty in my life, and so it's just a natural thing to give. It could be a feeling of generosity. It feels good to be generous. It could be a feeling of abundance or a feeling of sort of an overflow. You could be feeling especially prosperous, and that's what you're conveying as you give. So that's the consciousness that giving rises to the level of spiritual practice. And in this case, our intention is that you're giving, in this case, to something that feeds you spiritually. And again, I trust there's something about our community that feeds you spiritually, so you'd be naturally attracted to including us in your giving, in your donation. So what I'd like you to do is hold your hands over your heart as we say our statement of giving together. And I'm going to say it in English. You might choose to say it in Spanish. We're going to say it in both languages simultaneously. And, if you feel like you want to unmute and join in the chorus, that's great. Anyway, here we go. Abundance flows in my life. I am blessed with prosperity. I give with generosity. Yes. I tithe on faith, belief, and with a consciousness of love. My gift is a divine circulation through me that now benefits and grows our spiritual community and beyond. And now it is.
Más allá y así es.
Yes. So I'm going to invite you to mute yourselves now and sing along with this song as we prepare our minds and hearts for Reverend Judy's message.
I'm walking in the Spirit, walking in the Spirit, walking in the Spirit, the Spirit of one God, loving in the Spirit, loving in the Spirit, loving in the Spirit, Moving in the spirit. Oh, I'm moving. The spirit. Oh, the spirit. The spirit. Oh, God. Growing in the spirit. Every day I'm growing in the spirit. Growing in the spirit. The spirit. The spirit. The spirit. Oh, God. Growing in the spirit. Growing in the spirit. Growing in the spirit. The spirit. The spirit. The spirit of sing in the spirit. I lift my voice and sing, in the spirit. Oh, I lift my voice and sing, in the spirit. Oh, the spirit. The spirit. The spirit. The spirit. One God. The spirit. The spirit.
I don't know about you guys, but I wish I was a singer. Don't you wish you were a singer? To be able to vibrate and to be able to sing and to be able to communicate such a powerful feeling in the words of a song. They're so amazing. I love Sunny Day and all that she brings to the table. And even though she's not here in person with us, her music still moves my heart and gets to me. So I want to say thank you for that music. I want to say thank you to Reverend Kevin for being the staple behind all activities at Downey Center for Spiritual Living. He is the template in which we fill in the spots as he holds us together and moves us forward every week. It's something to be appreciated and loved, actually, because we need a good template for everything that we do. So thank you, Reverend Kevin. And Reverend Gary, Practitioner Gary, I want to tell you that I am now an astronaut, that you have now flown me into space, and I've had the opportunity to use my mind to go places. It's like remote viewing. It's like having a vision. It's like visioning. It's like beginning with the end in mind. We all know that concept, but we don't always do that. And I remember the astronauts and the Olympic trainers used to say that they had to go through the process of living out there in the winning, in the space, in order to know that they can do it, that in the event if something came up, they knew how to handle it. And that all leads us into today's talk, which is, and still I rise. Our yearly theme has been timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. The timeless wisdom is always to reach higher, to go for that higher vibration of thought, that higher consciousness that takes you out of the situation, that allows you to see beyond the challenge of the day, the moment of the day. To be able to see beyond this now moment is the power of visioning, to having a vision. And it's an evolutionary vision because your body can only go in the direction you see it going. Reaching higher, and still I rise. Though this may be a very challenging time in my life, in the life of the people that I love, I know that this will either shape me into the person I've always wanted to be or into the person I always feared could come to pass. I can always rise up and let my life empower me and like Gary said, just move above the earth and see it, the curve to it, and know that we are basically bigger than our physical lives. We are. Or I could get stuck in the pain of what I thought I lost or what I thought I'm going through. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to grieve. And for those of you that don't know, my son passed away 2 months ago, and I am in the grieving process, but I am not going to live in grief. And I hope that makes sense or helps, because and I think this is why my voice is crackling today, because everybody told me, "What are you doing talking at church already? And what are you doing?" I go, "I'm rising up. I'm reaching for the higher thought, for the highest and best feeling in this situation, because the gravity of it will slam my head to the ground if I let it. But I have to work against that gravity to take the love and the memory of my son and create a legend of happiness, hope, prosperity, beauty, and use his life for good, not for pain. I would never want to do that for him or anybody else." One of the quotes that was offered for this is, "The man who can control his thought can have and do what he wishes to have and do. Everything is for his asking." And that is the creative mind and success. And I look at that and I go, well, that is true. I can have a higher thought while I'm in the grief, because I can't control the fact that I'm going through grief, but I can control how I feel about that. So I was never taught to meet the challenge with a greater level of intelligence until I was in my 30s. I never knew not to use life as to become victimized. Until I was in my 30s, I always was bouncing or being thrown about by the wind of change. And I was either really happy that this happened or unhappy that that happened. I never knew that the faith of God, the love of God, that there is a higher living that could keep us centered no matter what we were going through. So I asked myself, why was I always so unhappy? Because I have to admit, a lot of my friends, family, and people I know in the industry, a lot of people are unhappy or saying, if I only had this, I'll be happy. And thinking that it was about doing and being. And I have to say that I was unhappy because I was always looking at outside circumstances and then being affected by an outside circumstance that I had no control over. The only thing I had control over is what I said to myself and what I made it mean. And I could either make myself stronger, more courageous, more loving, or I could allow myself to fall apart thinking the world was out to get me. And it's very hard for me to speak like this because all I want to do is be with my son. And I have to be careful what I say because my body, my energy, my spirit is listening. So as humans, we like to think and feel, think and feel, think and feel. It's all about the meaning that we give life and our emotions. And that's an acronym for me, meaning and motion. So it's all about me, right? So the pain is real, the fear is real, the challenge is real. And also who you become a result of that pain, that fear, that challenge is real. And fear will weaken the body, and it's hard to fight or work through something or even have fun if you're feeling weak. So you really want to be able to know that every breath I breathe strengthens me. That I'm not in this alone, that the breath that I breathe is the same breath that you breathe, and that for the love of my friends and the love of my family and the love of myself, I am breathing in the courage that helps me reach higher. So what if it was true that everything that we teach in Science of Mind, what if it was true? What if there is only one power, one presence, one love, God, and that God is eternal? What if? What if we were actually a change agent, that we have the power to change? So I had to think about that. In order to be a change agent, we had to know that we were greater than our environment. We have to be greater than what we feel in our bodies. We have to be greater than time, the time that we're experiencing right here. And we really, really have to embrace and embody that we're a spiritual being having a human experience, that we are life eternal. And that doesn't mean that pain, fear, and challenges do not have power over us, because they temporarily do. They can have power over us. But we fight and work through them until we surrender to something higher, something greater. And that is the truth, is my own intelligence that knows. The truth is, I know I'm just fighting myself. I know I'm fighting myself and what I'm making this mean. It's not everybody else's fault. It's what I'm saying to myself and what I'm making it mean. So I ultimately have the power to feel and to do and to have a more peaceful experience as I go through, as though I walk through the valley of death. I have the power to know that God is walking in me, through me, as me, for me at every moment of my life and every moment of our lives. So I watched a couple of videos that were suggested by the person that helps us with our weekly talks and our monthly themes and our yearly theme as we move through our talks and services. And one of the questions they said, are you all in? Are you all in? Are you all in to being happy? Or are you all in to living your life? Are you all in to not hiding behind fear and pain and oh, it's difficult? The dedication to living happy takes effort. Tony Robbins says that the only problem that we have in life is that we think we shouldn't have problems. Problems and difficulties make us grow. And outside circumstances can put us in a ditch, but our thinking, our will to live will help us get out of those ditches of pain. And who and what are we calling ditches anyway? Because we have to use people, places, and things in order to feel bad. And we love our lives, we love each other more than using them to hurt, right? Wouldn't you agree with me that we want to love people, not hurt people? And I keep telling everybody that I need you to speak words of encouragement in and around and about me. I need that right now, because the weight of my own thinking can be too much. Does that make sense? My son's going to be rich. So another quote by Ernest Holmes is, there is a divine urge within everyone to know more, to be more, and to express more. And I have found that the thing we're searching for is the thing we are searching with. So it's like the fish that's swimming around in the water looking for water. We are immersed in God, sustained, maintained, vitalized, and animated in and through and as God. Not that we are all the almighty. I don't know if I can create a universe. My limited thinking says that I am lived in and through. The Holy Spirit lives in me. That's what my limited thinking can be. But the truth is that when we reach higher and we surrender higher, all is available to us. God always says yes, But what's the question we're asking God? You know, is it my fault? Yes. Yes, it's your fault. And here's all the evidence. That's what your nervous system will do for you. Yes, is there an answer to recover from this, to move through this, and to provide hope and love for myself and other? The universe says yes. So the universe is always saying yes. God is always saying yes. We have to figure out what we're asking. And we want to retell our stories that will reflect the good of God, because life is eternal, right? And look at all the heroes that we have in our life. Everybody has a hero, and every hero has gone through something tough. Two of the examples that they used is Buddha. Buddha was being protected by his father, so he didn't have to experience pain and suffering. What did Buddha do? He climbed the wall and went out into the environment and lived his life to discover it for himself, even though he was told pain and suffering is out there. For us to live vicariously through people, we can experience life, but to be enriched and empowered and to gain wisdom and knowledge is to live the life itself. Joan of Arc was 14 years old when she ran straight into battle to fight for something she believed in. I'm not asking anybody to run into something and fight. I'm asking you to reveal the courage and the passion that is already in you to fight for something, to be passionate about something, to have a vision for something in your life. Life is pain, and anybody who tries to tell us different than that is trying to sell us something so that we could feel good. Now, everybody knows that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So life is painful, but you don't have to suffer, because with it, with pain, builds courage, it develops wisdom, it allows you to feel and see what's important to you. And in my philosophy class, I've shared this with you before. Socrates said that we die in each other's lives and live in each other's deaths. I really encourage everyone to be at peace with that, because death is very much a part of life. It is just as much as part of life as being born. And it's not easy, but it's true. Gary, it's not easy, but it's true. Uh-oh.
You get it?
No.
That was easy.
So it wasn't that easy, but it got across, right? Thank you, Gary. We just decided to do this a little while ago, that life is not easy. There's never been a recorded time in history where it was all unicorns and butterflies and angels playing harps. It's always been learning, growing, finding out what's true. Sometimes you find happiness in life. Sometimes you represent happiness for others after life. But it's all, if you take the easy way, it's not always the best way for you. We all want to use the easy button. I remember when I started in sales and I started traveling around the world, no matter where I was at, no matter what part of the world or what conference I was at, the attendants of people were always in a rush. They would always stand in line and wait for an available elevator while the presenters and the coaches would take the stairs. And I noticed that and I go, well, that's very interesting. They always want, what's the quickest and easiest way to get there? When the people that have been there know it's in every step you take that takes you to the next highest level, that allows you to own the level that you're at, because it's experience of stepping through it that you gain the wisdom and the courage and the strength and the stamina. It gives you sustaining power for each level that you reach. And you're never going to reach the top, because the top can always be topped. So to reach for something or to try and have something that is never, because life has in your body, in your nervous system, we have a part of us that is always evolving and growing. So there's always going to be something more. In the Bible, and I know this isn't easy for a lot of you to hear, but in the Bible, out of all the disciples, Peter was the most dedicated, but he wasn't the smartest one, in my ever so humble opinion. He wanted to fight the soldiers. He wanted Jesus to get out of town. Hey, I heard a rumor in town. They're going to crucify you tomorrow. Let's go. Let's get out of here before we all die, right? And then when the soldiers showed up, he wanted to fight, even after talking to Jesus about this. And Jesus stayed up all night praying and talking with God. If this cup can pass, please let it. But if I'm going to go through this, give me the strength to bear the crucifixion so that there may be a resurrection. So even though what you're going through is painful and it is hard, know that there's still life coming through it, that life is eternal, that we are here to represent the love and the faith and the belief in God that we each own for ourselves and others. Peter wanted to hit the easy button. Jesus knew that taking the stairs was the way to go, that life is for the experience. Don't make it easy. You can run, but you can't hide. Everywhere you go, there you are. You remember those old bumper stickers when they first started coming? Everywhere you go, there you are. Oh, it used to drive me crazy. And our easy buttons give us comfort. They give us options. My easy button that I've used in the past, don't judge me by my vulnerability, but food, booze, sex, shopping, denial, having a snarky attitude, those were my easy buttons. Learning to be still.
That was easy.
No, it wasn't, but it was fun, some of it. But still, you made me laugh. Now I forgot words.
Sorry.
That's okay. So all of those things were easy. It was easier for me to drown my sorrows. It was easier for me to go and hook up and have a distraction. It was easier for me to go buy something only to come home and see that I had 3 that look a lot like it. It was easy for me to distract myself. I don't know if any of you have read this. This is my favorite book in the world. It's The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. And it talks about heaven and hell. And it talks about a place where people don't know that they're in hell, that they've died. And every day they have an opportunity to take a bus to heaven, but they won't give up their pet peeves in order to acclimate to heaven. And it's a little meaty book, 130 pages. But one of the things, because I just recently went and saw the play because I love the book so much, but one of the things that popped out for me this time, instead of the 12 times I've read the book, is that hell is a noun and heaven is a verb. So heaven is something that you do. Heaven is a desire and an action, and there's always desire and action in life. But that desire and action takes you to that higher reach, where hell is where you live in the tangible. I want to build it. I want to feel it. Anything you can see, hear, feel, and touch is a tangible, and it can be used for heaven or hell. But you just know that heaven is a verb, and that we should stay away from the easy buttons. And I was noticing that in one of the talks, it's talked about a woman that wanted to save her son from pain and wanted to keep him away from everything that would hurt him. She was trying to raise him that way. And the lady she was telling it to said, "What kind of son do you want to raise?" And she goes, "I want to raise a kind, wise, and very resilient son." And she goes, "Okay, well, let me ask you another question. What does life offer your son that helps him become kind, wise, and resilient?" And those are the challenges, the fears he faced. and the losses that we acquire that are working through those that make you kind, wise, and resilient. So the conclusion of that is that she was trying to protect her son from the one thing that could make her son be kind, wise, and resilient. And avoiding pain is not the way. Pain is like fertilizer. You know, it helps you grow. But if you hold on to the pain and you hoard the pain and you create a warehouse storage of pain fertilizer, it becomes combustible. And when that hits, that's when everybody says, well, the feces hit the fan, didn't it? Right? A little bit of fertilizer will help your garden grow. Too much will burn your plants. Let it go. Use it wisely to help nourish and feed you, but don't hold on to it. You can't outrun loneliness and pain, but you can still know that you are God's very own and reach higher. Be still for 5 minutes and build up a tolerance to being quiet and still. Be comfortable in your uncomfortableness and learn to manage your emotions that you can be a beneficial presence for yourself and others on this planet. See your fear, yes, but know your spirit is bigger than your fear. Your courage is bigger. Your God is bigger than your fear. When you face the fear and you say, I can't, when you don't face your fear, when you say things like, I can't go there, it hurts too much. I can't talk to that person, it hurts too much. I can't think about that, it hurts too much. You're building a small little prison of pain, and your body starts to ache and you start to get sick. And you hold the key and you look out the bars of your prison and you shake your bars and say, somebody help rescue me, while you're holding the key. And people come by and they try to say things and they try to comfort you and they try and fix you. And when they realize they can't, they stay away because it hurts them to see you in pain and know there's nothing they can do. Free yourself. Reach for that higher vibration, that higher thought, and still rise. So I wanted to read Maya Angelou's And Still I Rise poem, and that will be my closing prayer. So a couple of them that I read, that I Googled and searched for, one of them says, does my sassiness upset you? And the other one says, my sexiness upset you. So I'm choosing to use the poem that says sexiness because we're all sexy beings. So this is it. Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wheels pumping in my living room, oil wells. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing forward or high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed my head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I got diamonds in the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Out of the past that's rooted in pain I rise. I am a black ocean leaping and wide, Welling and swelling, I bear the tide. Leave behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts of my ancestors gave. I dream the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. And I apologize for crying, but I don't really, because that's just how God made me. I am a very kinesthetic person, but I want you to know that I know I'm hard on myself. And I know sometimes my communication can be direct, but I want you to know that I am brave enough to walk this path. Hold my hand while I run this race. I am here for you as you have been here for me. Thank you very much today. I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you. God bless.
And we love you.
No, I love you too. Thank you. It's all yours, Mr. Reb Kev.
Wow. Just so you know, I can't get through reading that poem without crying either, so I'm right there with you. It is a powerful, powerful piece, and I hope everybody felt that like me. Well, let's again show Reverend Judy some wonderful love for a very powerful and transformative message today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I love being loved, y'all.
It is a great feeling.
It's
And
a
the feeling,
it's a
and the feeling
gift.
is mutual.
It's a gift to us when you're completely yourself with no filter. Never apologize for that. Do you understand me? Never apologize. That's all I got to say.
Bertha's a gift in my life that keeps giving. You're such a beautiful mirror. Thank you, Bertha.
I love you, Judy.
I feel it. Okay, we're gonna have a love fest, Reb Cab. So thank
I'm
you.
all in.
I'm all in.
All right. Just a reminder, a couple of things. Reverend Sunshine is going to be joining us in a little bit to give us some updates, and we'll be doing visioning after our fellowship time today. Remember Minute Miracles with a Practitioner. If you want, just let me or Gary or any of the other practitioners or even Rev Judy know that you would like that, and we will make that so. And as is, again, our usual custom, we like to close in a prayer, and we sing our closing prayer. Let me push some buttons, and we will sing the prayer that's a prayer prayed twice.
That's why I like it.
This is our prayer.
The music stopped.
Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Hang on.
We want to pray twice.
I apologize. Let me push the right buttons this time.
This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open
Love that song.
All right. It's time to say goodbye to our live streamers for this week. So say goodbye until next time to everybody on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us today.